So this is a short 20-minute presentation just to kind of introduce Icon and why we're interested by cloud. Why we're interested in cloud, why, how do we see that Fortissimo can help manufacturing SMEs, and also a short video on our platform, our vision for CFD on the cloud. So first, Icon at a glance. We're a fairly small company, an SME, but with a worldwide impact in America, Europe, and Asia, and also with our partners at IDAJ in Asia-Pacific Rim territories. We've been CFD-focused experts from the start. Since 1992, we've only done CFD, whether it be development of CFD products, consultancy, or processes. And we're independent and private company. Now, one of our strong areas is the automotive industry. As you can see, more than 65% of the top 20 automotive OEMs employed Icon in the past 2 years. So even though we're fairly small, we're competitive. Now, the goal of Fortissimo is to provide manufacturing SMEs with easy and cost-effective access to advanced simulation services delivered through a cloud infrastructure. We've seen this over the past few days. This statement is in line with the goal of Icon, which is to provide customers with reliable, precise, or accurate, easy, and cost-effective CFD simulation services and solutions. The question is how to work together to make that happen. If you look at CFD at the moment, this is a reminder, the total CFD market size is up to 650 million euros annually. It has about 10–15% annual growth, and about 5% of the customers drive 36% or more of this revenue. Clearly SMEs seek less expensive CFD solutions, and CFD solutions and HPC solutions. Now, how Icon has evolved from being a consultancy to a service provider to an ISV, and now potentially to a software as a service provider. There were crucial technological steps in Icon. First, the use of open source. In 2004, we started using open source. And then we've developed open source based offerings in 2009, and later with Icon Foam Pro, which then became Icon CFD. And now we're looking at cloud-based offerings from this year with our platform, Icon platform. Now, open source created a revolution in CFD, and it created a revolution for our company. And we expect that cloud computing is the next one to be prepared for, and that is going to change us in the same way that open source has changed us. We had an experiment in the first stage of Fortissimo with one of our customers, Koenigsegg, which is a very small manufacturer of hypercars. So you can see a picture here of the Koenigsegg 1, which we've helped design and optimize for downforce at 440 kilometers per hour. You have details of this experiment in the booklet, around page 60 or something like that, so if you want to take a look. Now, this experiment really allowed us to further understand and investigate the technical requirements of SME end users in terms of HPC and in terms of CFD. You can see the previous presentation from last year at the forum for details on this. Now, some general requirements. I'll go quickly through this slide because I think a lot of it has already been covered. But I think some general requirements covered that the ability for SMEs and ISV to focus on product investments and developments, rather than being distracted by topics like contractual issues, data security, export control, etc. Maybe that's one aspect that Fortissimo can help us on. Providing an e-commerce facility with advice, maybe tax implications, what happens when we're running outside of our main country, what happens, all these things. Social media components linking to own websites where available. We've seen that that's one of the parts of the marketplace with the forums and such. Maintenance of direct customer relationship. There was this this comment about making sure that we don't compete on some topics, and that we don't lose our customer base. And I think one of the difficulties for ISVs to embrace a marketplace, such as the Fortissimo marketplace, will be that. And the maintenance of data and software confidentiality, of course. Now, some more specific requirements that I think could be very useful for ISVs and consultancies are listed here. So yes, the customer and the end user are the manufacturing SMEs. However, really the enablers of the Fortissimo platform and the Fortissimo marketplace will be the ISVs and the consultants. Yeah. Now, I think perhaps one of the things that could be helpful is to provide the ISV and the consultants a common API, maybe open source, maybe not, to dispatch simulations on the various HPC facilities in Europe. One of the problems that we see in this area is that to connect any kind of service to a background HPC, we need to recode a lot of things. And all of this can be abstracted with some kind of interface. So perhaps there could be a common API which the HPC providers within Europe or elsewhere could adopt to enable ISVs and consultants to actually use their facilities more easily. The common interfaces which are required to be exposed are, from our point of view, data storage, whether we want our data to be replicated or not, whether we want it to be time-bound, so for example, deleted after a certain number of weeks, or things like that. Archiving, accounting, of course, that you touched on with the number of runs, the number of core hours, the per project, per user, all this stuff. I think it needs to be all accessible. Not necessarily through a web page, but maybe through an API, which is web-based and which others can use in order to dispatch their own services. Simulation, so simulation control, starting and stopping and monitoring, etc. And notifications, emailing, for example, when a simulation is done, you want to email directly the PowerPoint report to the customer. Is there an interface to do that across all HPC systems? No, at the moment there isn't. So we took this a step further, and we developed a kind of a prototype, something that we see as a platform for some of our customers to allow them to use CFD as an end user without necessarily knowing much about CFD. So we developed the best practice, since we have a consultancy arm and also the software. And here were some of the requirements that we've done, that we've put together. So software independent, it's not limited to Icon CFD, although at the moment that's the only one that we're using. It's 100% browser-based. I mean, we've had client-server approaches. We've had things like a graphical user interface where you tar up your case and then you send it through to an HPC. And we think all of these things are extremely useful. But for the end user who doesn't have the time, who wants a quick solution also, and who doesn't want to necessarily get familiarized with a new environment, a desktop application that he has to install, etc., then we think we really need to go to a 100% browser-based solution. With a simplified end user interface, already best practices inside the platform, and with simple app development for anyone who wants to develop apps. Our interest is not necessarily to develop all the apps. Think about it as a Chrome platform. In the Chrome in the Chrome operating system, Chromium or Chrome browser, you can develop an app. And an app is basically just a folder. And you tell Chrome, OK, here's my folder. Here's the manifest. Here's the code. And there you go. And it's there. It's deployed. It doesn't take a lot of time. So same principle. One app is one zip folder. And someone with an app developer access can simply develop an app. It takes less than a day to develop an app and deploy it. So finally, we need the possibility to visualize and compare post-process results and the possibility to download resulting data for further analysis. OK. You can register your interest on this from an HPC point of view or an end-user point of view or even an app developer point of view on platform.iconcfd.com/main. And you'll also see this video posted there. It's a fairly fast video. So we've got secure access, which here I think it would be good to move perhaps to the single sign-on from the Fortissimo marketplace. We have geometry library visualization capability. So with very fast rendering, it's done on the browser, so using WebGL type technologies. Multiple tab support, so it has a kind of a graphical user interface look and feel, even though this is entirely in the browser. It's interactive even when the largest models are being downloaded. So that's a really nice feature, which comes from some third-party libraries that we're using. And it has standard 3D controls, as you would have with any software that you install locally. The idea is really to deploy applications for specific tasks. So you create a project and you have various applications which are already pre-built. So for example, you can do a cabin HVAC simulation or a building simulation or some permeability calculations if you're in the oil and gas industry, or some porous duct optimization if you're in the automotive industry, for example. You can share with your group of users the simulation and the data. So it's, there's group access. And it's topic focused. So basically, you only have access to the input that you need. All the best practice is pre-built by the app developer. So here, we just choose an input surface. We choose the filter zone. We have, you can see, you can have 3D control. So you can click on the inlet, click on the outlet. You choose your flow rates. You have best practices already there. You can choose your turbulence model, for example, if you want to expose that. But you can not expose these things as well and have just inlet, outlet, and that's it. And all the best practice is already in there. Once you're finished, you just launch. It goes to one of the HPC facilities, and it comes back with results. Already pre-processed. It could come back with PowerPoints. It could come back with images, with curves, with 2D data, 3D data. You can explore that online or download. So here, for example, I'm downloading an Insight tarball to then post-process locally. You can clone projects in order to just do very quick variants. You can share with various other people if you want to share your design variant or not. And again, here you can see the interface is slightly different. This is just one text file. Okay, so if you already have a process which is scripted up for your customers, you can deploy it here fairly simply. And you can compare. So because the apps are topic-centric and they're all post-processed in the same way, then you can compare the results of different simulations. So you just select all your projects that you want to compare, which were used with the same app. And then all the post-processing has a kind of a comparing graphical interface. So here, for example, I take 3 cases which were which were run with a cylinder flow app. And I compare some data, and I can switch it on and off and do some data exploration. And then we can move on to much more fancy post-processing. But it's all based on a common interface. So yeah, for the moment, it's, let's say, beta stage. We already have some customers lined up to use this. If you have some interest in the technology, whether it be the web-based technology, perhaps being an HPC center on which we dispatch those calculations, perhaps developing apps for this, we're still open to the discussions. We're open to making this platform even completely open as well, depending on the interest of the community around it. Yeah. I think that's it. If you have any questions, let me know.